Hello YouTube. Do you hate the process of buying a new car? The high pressure sales tactics, the lies that you get told such as I'm losing money on this deal? What about the tactics that they use to keep you in the dealership until they can pressure you into a deal? Have you ever driven away after negotiating a price and still felt like you got ripped off? Well, stay tuned because today I'm going to teach you how to eliminate all of that stress and anxiety when buying a new car. But be sure to stick around until the end because I'm also going to explain to you why buying a new car is often a bad financial decision. Before we get into the lesson though, let me just remind you to leave your suggestions for future topics in the comments section below. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you like this video and subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you can be reminded when a new video is published. So first, let's talk about the pricing process of a new car. When a new car leaves the factory, it is shipped to the dealership with a window sticker that says MSRP. Now most people think that stands for manufacturer suggested retail price, and technically that is what it stands for, but what I like to call it is the mainly sucker's retail profit. The reason I say that is because this sticker price tells the dealership, if you want to make the maximum profit possible on this car, we suggest you sell it for this price. So first of all, you should never pay sticker price for any car. And most of the time the dealership is more than willing to sell a car for less than the sticker price. About the only time you will see a dealership try to stick to this price is when a particular car is extremely popular and supply is limited. Any other time, this sticker price means absolutely nothing to you because you are not a sucker. Then there's the invoice price. This is the price that dealerships will tell you that they paid for the car, and this is where the lies come in. Have you ever heard a new car salesperson say, I'm offering you this car at below invoice price, I'm losing money on the deal? Lies, all lies. Think about it. Would you sell a brand new car for less than what you actually paid for it? I think not. The funny thing is that if you've ever been in this situation, I can guarantee you your gut was telling you this can't be true. And the dealership knows that, so sometimes they will even offer to show you the so-called invoice price. That's because they know if they show you this price, you are more likely to feel like you're getting a good deal, and all of a sudden you forget what your gut was telling you. Let me give you some insight into this whole invoice pricing thing. The invoice price is sort of the starting point for negotiations between the dealer and the manufacturer. There's other factors such as holdbacks, incentives, and rebate that can affect the actual cost that the dealership pays for each vehicle. Let me give you a quick example. I looked up a 2020 Honda Accord 4-door, 4-cylinder EXL model with automatic transmission. The MSRP was listed as $32,270. The invoice price was listed as $29,509. The dealer holdback was $645. Holdbacks are used to improve the dealer profit by inflating the invoice price and are usually paid back to the dealer on a quarterly basis. So when a dealer tells you or even shows you an invoice price, they already know that they're going to get some of that money back from the manufacturer. For this particular car, I was also able to see that there was a dealer incentive of $500. Now this incentive can be passed on to the customer, but there's nothing that requires them to. And even when they do pass this incentive on to the customer, they usually try to make some or all of it up in the price they're willing to take for the car. So in this example, the invoice price of $29,509 minus the $645 holdback minus the $500 incentive leaves a true cost of $28,364, which is $1,145 less than the invoice price. And dealerships can also earn extra incentive by reaching certain sales targets. These incentives are usually tiered, meaning as the dealership reaches higher levels, it earns more per vehicle than it did at the previous level. This further reduces the cost that the dealership pays for each subsequent vehicle that it sells. This is why you may find a dealership that is willing to sell you a car below the invoice price, which we've already established is not the true cost anyway. But if they know that sale will push them to the next tier, they will be willing to do it because they're going to make more profit on each sale after that. So now that you understand how the pricing works from the dealer standpoint, what should your strategy be when you get ready to buy? Well, before you even set foot on a lot, make sure you have your finances in order. Know what your credit score is, unless you plan to pay cash. And in order to get the best rate on financing, you probably need a credit score of 740 or better. Get pre-approved with your bank or credit union if possible. Next, do your research on the specific car that you are looking for, and be sure to use your zip code because prices can vary by region. I will leave links to websites that can help you find invoice prices and what others are paying in your area for the same car. Next, set your price. Once you know the invoice price, which again is not the true cost, set your price for most non-luxury cars at around 2% above the invoice price. For luxury cars such as Mercedes-Benz and others, set your price at 1 to 1.5% above the invoice. You can also use sites like Edmunds True Car Value to calculate your price, and you will find that it comes pretty close to my method. Once you have your price nailed down, make sure you're shopping at the right time. Dealers are more motivated near the end of the month, the end of the quarter, and the end of the year due to the incentives that I mentioned earlier. Before you head out to the dealership, check their inventory online if possible, or call and make sure that they have the vehicle that you're looking for. Also, try to shop at larger dealerships if possible. Remember, volume equals more wiggle room for them. Write your price on a piece of paper and put it in your pocket or purse. This is more of a psychological thing, and it helps to turn the tables and put you in control. Once you have test driven the car and you are sure that it is what you want, let the salesperson know that you are ready to buy that car today if they meet your price. Obviously, they're going to ask you what your price is, and that's when you pull out your paper and slide it over to them. And they will likely tell you they'll have to check with the manager. Tell them that that's fine, but this is my price and I am not going to do this back and forth thing, so please come back with a yes or no answer. This is also psychological, but it lets them know that you are serious and it keeps you in control of the situation. If they come back and say no, then thank them for their time, stand up to leave, and say, if you decide to accept my offer, give me a call, but don't call me with any other price. Stick to your guns and move on to the next dealership. I can almost guarantee you that someone will accept your offer or at least get very close. If they don't come within a couple of $100 of your price, don't accept the deal. This process works with a very high percentage of success, and you can walk away or drive away knowing that you control the situation from start to finish. Now that you know how to buy a new car, let me tell you why it may be a bad financial decision, even if you get the price you wanted. According to current depreciation rates, the value of a new car can drop by more than 20% after the first 12 months of ownership. Then for the next 4 years, you can expect your car to lose roughly 10% of its value annually. This means that a new car can be worth as little as 40% of its original purchase price after 5 years. Now, I should mention that some cars lose their value faster than this, and some cars will hold their value longer than this. But for sake of argument, let's use these numbers to take another look at our Honda Accord. We said that we were going to set our price at 2% above the invoice price. In this case, the invoice price was $29,509. So 2% above that would be $30,099. If we take 20% depreciation off of that, then our car's value after 1 year would be $24,079. And after 2 years, it would be worth $21,671. Assuming we made a down payment of $1,000 and our sales tax was 5% and we financed it for 5 years at 4.7%, our payment would be approximately $545. Now this is where you could blow your deal out of the water if you didn't do your homework and already know what your payment would be. If the dealership comes out and says, we accept your offer and your payments will be $545, and you say, well, I was hoping to keep my payments around $400 a month. At that moment, you've just lost everything you worked for in this deal and more. They will go back and recalculate the numbers and come back and say, okay, we got your payments down to $407. But in order to do that, they had to finance it for 84 months instead of 60 months. And now you're paying roughly $3,000 more in interest, and after 2 years, you still owe more on the loan than the car is now worth. So don't ever fall into that, what do you want your payments to be trap. You will get burned every time. This is one of the reasons buying a new car can be a bad financial decision. So now let's look at this from a different angle. Let's assume that you could afford the $545 monthly payment. Does that mean that you should buy new? Well, after 2 years, you won't be upside down on the loan, but the car will still have depreciated and will have 2 years worth of normal wear and tear. You're gonna have a few rock dings and paint chips, and it will probably have been hit by a shopping cart or another car door that was parked too close. These things are going to happen. I don't care how careful you are. You can't dodge a rock that pops up on the highway. These rocks hate new cars. They lie in wait until you come along in your shiny new car that you just had detailed inside and out. And it seems like it all happens in slow motion. You spot the rock in midair just before it ricochets off your hood. And in that instant, you think about trying to swerve to avoid it, but there's nowhere to go and it's too late. This is why I don't buy new cars anymore. You're usually better off buying a car that's 2 or 3 years old that already has had its biggest depreciation and is not being constantly hunted by these new car killer rocks. All things being equal, the car that you bought new will be in the same condition in 2 years as the used car. I know the classic argument for buying a new car is, I don't want to buy someone else's problems. I understand that thinking, but it's not really practical. You can buy good quality used cars for a lot less than buying new, and if you do it right, you can begin to position yourself to be able to pay cash for a car, which will save you even more money. Let's go back to our Honda example one more time. Our depreciated value after 2 years is approximately $21,600. If you use an auto broker to purchase a car for you through the various auctions that happen every week all over the country, you could probably buy this car for around $20,000 or maybe less. So right off the bat, you've saved $10,000 by purchasing a 2-year-old car that is in the same condition that your brand new car will be in after 2 years of normal wear. I use an auto broker by the name of Mike DeLongchamp. He is the owner of Montgomery Auto Group, and he's based in Montgomery, Alabama, but he buys cars for individuals through auctions in the Southeast region. There are auctions every week in places like Tampa, Orlando, Tallahassee, Atlanta, Nashville, and others in this region. Mike has been in business for 32 years, and I've known him for about 15 of those years, and I've bought several cars for myself and other family members and friends using Mike's service. I can tell you that he is a super nice guy and will always treat you right. If you're not in this region of the country, you can still reach out to Mike, and he can likely connect you with a broker that is closer to you. And just in case you are wondering, I'm not affiliated with Montgomery Auto Group, and I do not receive any kind of referral fees or any other compensation. I just know they are good people who work hard to get their clients the best deals possible. When buying through the auction, I usually work with Mike to try to find vehicles that were previously leased. The reason I do this is because leased vehicles are usually well maintained and typically have lower mileage. Now, Mike charges a flat fee of $650 for his work, and then you pay transportation costs that depends on which auction it is being transported from. All vehicles arrive at his lot in Montgomery for pickup by the customer, and the transportation costs range from $150 to $350. By the way, most new car prices include a destination fee of $1,000. I will include Mike's contact information in the description below. If you want to get on his mailing list or just find out more about the process, give him a shout and tell him Herman sent you. Getting back to our Honda Accord. If we bought it through the auction at $20,000 and used the same down payment and interest rate, but only financed it for 48 months instead of 60, our payment would be approximately $435. We would also save around $1,600 in interest compared to the new car, so now we're up to $11,600 in savings. Now here's the real kicker. If you could afford the $545 in monthly payments for 60 months, but now you're only paying $435, how can you maximize that saving even further? Well, if you took that $110 difference in payment that you were going to be spending on a new car and invested it at 8% return, which is a reasonable expectation for the stock market, in 5 years you would have approximately $8,000. Now you're up to $19,600 in savings compared to the new car purchase. If we continued our depreciation rate for the same 5-year holding period, our Honda would still have a resale value of around $10,000. If you only counted your investment and the resale value, you would have $18,000 to put towards your next auto purchase. This is why buying a new car might be a bad financial decision. This is also the strategy that I have used to allow me to buy automobiles through the auction and pay cash for them. This also aids in building wealth and financial independence, because once you don't have to worry about car payments, that money can be directed to other areas where it can continue to work for you. You have to change your thinking about how you buy cars and how you think about your money in general. This is just another financial behavior that you can add to your tool bag. And you know what I always say, change your behaviors and you can change your life. So until next time, behave well.